All right, so by now we've all seen that viral video that Crystal made about these sneakers right here. This is like the Nike Dunk alternative, black and white colorway, 23 bucks instead of the regular price of a Nike. And it doesn't have the Nike logo or whatever she says on the side of the shoe. But this is one of those videos I was like, you know what? I saw her video. I was like, I'm going to buy those. So I bought them. So I got them in hand on feet. I wanted to kind of compare these next to actual Pandas just for fun, but also just have a little bit of a message behind the video, because I think that what she did is, there's nothing wrong with like creating a video showing like an alternative to a more expensive pair. $115 is retail of a pair of Nike Panda Dunks, and I have a pair right here from one of the retros a while ago. So I do have both of them side by side, and I also have a little pair for my daughter, and my wife has a pair. These shoes are like a staple amongst us nowadays. A lot of sneaker people out there are just flaming people that wear the Panda Dunks as is, because these are like late to the trend. They're ones that are over mass produced, and like everywhere you go, people are wearing Panda Dunks. Go to Disneyland, there's 1,000 pairs of Panda Dunks. If you go anywhere, but it's a black and white pair of sneakers and they look great. And it's a Nike Dunk Low. I'm a fan. I've always been a fan. And I'm going to continue to be a fan of this pair of sneakers, even if the trend is 2 years past due, I guess, at this point. The resale on these, when Nike didn't mass produce them, were going for close to $300 at one point, which is nuts. Now you can get them full size around on Nike.com. I'll post them in the description if anybody's interested. But they're 115 now at retail instead of like 90 or whatever they were. So kind of crazy that they went up in price so much. But the quality of materials, honestly, not that good. Like if you look at them comparison to what you get from this $23 pair of sneakers from Walmart. Okay, I have two pairs of shoes here. Does it feel like it's the same quality or better quality or worse quality?
It feels like the same exact.
Do you know how much this one cost?
20.
20? Close.
20 or 30.
Whoa, I don't know how you do it. It is a pretty good knockoff of a pair of the Nike Dunks. The materials on the shoe actually are pretty decent. I don't think this is real leather on the sides of the shoe, but it actually feels a little bit soft. Softer than the Nike Dunk leather even. I wouldn't even call this leather. There's like a huge polyurethane coat over top of the leather, if it's even real leather. That makes it so these are extremely rigid. Then the tongue padding on the shoe actually feels very similar. You also do have a tag on the tongue that does say and one on this pair, obviously, because this is the Walmart and one pair. And then you do have the white midsole and black outsole perforation on the toe box as well, done in a little bit of a different styling. And then you do have some stitching on the sides of the shoe instead of the Nike swoosh. You can see the panels, the way that they built it, it is somewhat similar. On the Nikes, where the laces come together at the bottom and the toe box, it's actually one panel, but on this pair, it's actually two panels. Then you have another leather panel for the laces on both of the shoes. And then the wings for the top laces, it's actually underneath the lace panel here, but on the Nike Dunk pair, the panel is actually laid over top. Similar to the bottom, they actually flip-flopped which panel goes on top of the other. The back section where they change it up quite a bit, because you can see there's a white panel and then there is a black panel that comes up on the N1 pair. On the Nike pair, you could see it tapers down and then you have a white panel with some stitching over top of it with an extra leather section on top that has the Nike embroidered, and then the N1 pair has the logo on the back of the shoe. To be honest, the liners look very similar as well. The perforation holes and stuff are a little bit larger on the Nike Dunks, and it's a little bit finer on the N1s. For $23 instead of $115.
That's crazy, yeah.
$92 savings. What would you do with it?
I mean, I don't care about shoes, right? I mean, I would wear those. I don't care.
Why don't you come here and say that?
What?
Come right here and say that. So they can. You look fantastic.
Hello?
Would you wear these?
I mean, just like around, yeah, that's fine.
So my wife is notorious for going to Target and buying shoes as well. I get her.
You mean like the Birkenstocks, and then I just go get
fake
like
Birkenstocks,
the fake $10 ones or whatever?
Just all sorts of random weird looking shoes. She does have a regular pair of Panda Dunks. She's worn them maybe 3 times, I think. And she has New Balance 991s and stuff.
I wear those.
You have a bunch of stuff
those.
but then she also goes to Target and buys this stuff from Target, and she doesn't care. And I think that that's a pretty valid lesson, like, right?
Yeah.
It's important that people don't fixate so much on the material. As much as I love material.
You love material.
I love material. But it doesn't define us as individuals, right?
No.
Okay. All right, go back to work and stuff.
The girls.
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.
What are they doing? Now, the midsole is very similar, but the outsole is where things are changed up quite a bit. And that's because this rubber material is just terrible. It's very, very slippery on the knockoff pair. On the Nike Dunks, it's definitely a thicker rubber, which is nice to have for traction and whatnot. I know historically from having to buy pairs of sneakers from Payless and stuff, which is the equivalent of like Walmart nowadays, like the outsole traction was always just super bad on the knockoff pairs, and you definitely can tell the difference on these. But for 23 bucks instead of 115, I mean, I do like expensive sneakers. I do like trendy sneakers, but I also like a good bargain. And honestly, for the price point of this, it's not too terrible. If you're wanting something that looks similar, then obviously this could be an option for you. Now, I do want to address the big elephant in the room, and that is obviously if you get these, you're going to get flamed at school if you have kids, and so on and so on. And you know, I get that, even though I was the kid that had these type of sneakers when I was actually playing basketball in them. I had knockoff Air Jordan 5s to play basketball on a basketball team with everybody else that had the Nikes and had the Jordans and stuff. I had the fake pair of 5. It was humiliating to me. However, nobody flamed me for it. It's just the way I personally felt about it. Like, for the most part, people just knew I didn't have money, so they didn't like kick me when I'm down, you know what I mean? And I know that's not the situation in some people's areas. Other people will kick other kids when they're down, which sucks. But I think that's the fundamental change that we need to have happen, where kids have to have this because they can't afford this, don't feel like they're less than the kid that can't afford these or the Supreme versions and everything else. The material things in life are fun, but it's not all that matters for sure. And as for somebody that's been on both sides of the fence, it's definitely important that I instill values in my kid where he might have like the latest and greatest Jordans, and if he has teammates that don't, then he knows never to make fun of somebody that doesn't have the same amount of stuff that he has. I also let him know that if he sees kids at school that have holes in their shoes or whatever, like, we have the ability to like donate and help those type of kids that just don't have the extra funding for footwear and stuff. So everybody puts values on different things, and it's important to not put all of your values on material possessions. I know that's really, really weird coming from a sneaker channel, but it's definitely an important message to throw out there. Also, I wanted to point out the average person doesn't like to spend $100 on a pair of sneakers. Running sneakers, like everyday sneakers, whatever it might be. Like when I'm at my kids' school, I see other parents and they're wearing average pairs of sneakers, and some of these people do really, really well, and they don't really care what footwear they have on their feet, and they don't see the value in spending over $100 on a pair of sneakers. I totally get that. And I think that Crystal's video just struck a chord and went viral because it was really showcasing that she didn't know anything about the Nike Panda Dunks. She didn't know they were called Panda, she just called them black and white Dunks. And obviously she was a little bit late to the trend. It's been 2 years now, and then she's talking about a pair like this. So then it puts us in a place where sneaker people and trendy people cross paths with an average person that is looking at a pair of shoes and finding a good deal. And some of the comments, while they were funny, some of them were just straight up hurtful and mean. Like, I don't know. If somebody posts content like Crystal did out there, the last thing I would do is leave a really hateful filled message for her. Like, she'll read that. I don't know. It's just mean. There is like a humor side to the post as well, but at the end of the day, like, it's not that big of a deal enough to like leave hate comments. So my personal thoughts on buying like a knockoff version instead of getting a pair of the real thing. I personally just would not get this because I don't want to be like ridiculed or have the potential ridicule of having something that is like a knockoff version of something else. But that doesn't mean I would discourage somebody else from buying these, and it doesn't mean that I would ever make fun of somebody for actually wearing these instead of getting a pair of the Nike Dunks. Instead of getting this for $23, I would try to find a pair of Chuck Taylors in the black and white colorway for like $30 to $45 or so. I know that's almost double the price of this, but I always found it safer to buy a pair of classics instead of something that looked like something else. So like Chuck Taylor All-Stars, I would get the low top black canvas version with the white midsole. I think those are perfect. Price point on those are fairly affordable as well. You could also do Puma Suede, Reebok Classics, Adidas Stan Smiths, stuff like that. Like, it's more timeless and more classic instead of getting something that looks like something else. Again, for fear of that ridicule, because I was a sensitive kid as well. Like, and I did have that knockoff pair that looked like the Jordan 5s and stuff. It just overall wasn't a great feeling to have that. Also, I wanted to address one other thing. For those people that have comments that said, why would you buy this $23 knockoff? You could just go to like Temu or whatever and get like a fake version of these. You guys already know I'm not really a big proponent of buying fakes. You can buy a knockoff version where like the people that are in the know that this is obviously not the real thing. Or you could buy a replica pair that is not made from Nike and is just not officially licensed and everything. And even if the build material is fairly similar to what you get from Nike and the price is a lot cheaper, it's just not something that I personally support. But again, everybody has their own 2 cents of what they feel like they could do. And so I wouldn't get the knockoff version, the replica version either. I would actually go ahead and just get something else. Instead of just following that trend, you could just have something that's a little bit more less talked about. And I'd rather have the pair that like nobody's really talking about than getting a pair that like looks like a pair that everybody else is talking about, if you know what I'm saying. So that's just my 2 cents. At the end of the day though, people just want to assimilate, they want to fit in, they want to just be accepted. And so the best thing that you could do is just be accepting of others. And I think that that will go a long way. And I hope that we can get to a point where like kids won't fear wearing a pair of AND1 black and white sneakers. They could just wear whatever they want and just not care and have other people look and go, cool, I don't care either. One day we'll get there, but hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you guys for stopping by and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and hopefully see you back for some more content. All right, peace guys.